The ride to the airport is always too short. Even if I'm packed for days, I'm never ready to go. A nervous feeling inhabits my stomach right before my feet hit the hectic curb. I check my bag and then head to security, and the line is long as the employee asks, "Are you alone?" In life or just right now? He points me in the direction away from the lovers and families traveling together. The person in front of me doesn't have to remove their shoes, but now I do, so I am barefoot in the Newark airport. I don't belong here. I'm out of sync with what's around me. Oh, how I'd wish for a breeze to find me. I'd scatter like confetti in the air, ending up in a million different places at once. What a magical escape. Anxiety. It's typically defined as a feeling of unease or worriedness, typically about an imminent event or an event with an uncertain outcome. I'm sure most people can relate to having anxiety in their lives in some way, shape, or form. I mean, who wouldn't be worried about that big test or job interview coming up? But for some people, anxiety is more than just the occasional nervous spell. Maybe even thinking about hanging out with their friends or doing laundry makes them unable to think, and this can be a real struggle for people with anxiety disorders. Even if they wish their mind could be blank and that their world wasn't crashing down around them at any moment, it isn't always possible. Experience this in my programs, The Mirrors Map My Anxiety, with poems by Lily Reinhart, Alicia Cook, Halsey, Ian S. Thomas, Elise G., Allison Armando, and Writer's Court. Growing up, my mother cautioned I would not possess the power to plan out my own life. I couldn't say I'd be married by X, have a kid by Y, and have a book out by Z. I was told that much as I craved to treat my life like one big long to-do list, I would instead find myself asking, where from here? At least a few times in my life. But now I find myself asking that a few times a day. There was a time when I laughed more, was more lighthearted and whimsical. There was a time I smiled in more than just pictures, and there was a time I at least attempted to end pieces on a high note. But days and days become weeks of being weak. Months become moths that eat holes into my favorite moments. Are you having another one of your dark days? My father asks. I'm sorry, I'm having another bad day. My bones are creaking and my eyes leak like a broken faucet. My mind is a bullet train and I can't stop it. I'm stuck in the middle of an avalanche and I'm not moving. Sometimes when I feel like I'm going to fall apart, I hold my ribs all the way around on both sides. My ribs hold me together like glue. They keep my breath close to my heartbeat. They keep my soul from escaping. I hold shadows in the hollows where my ribs meet. I hold them there in memories of slow, sorrowful music and porch steps. I hold my ribs until I feel solid, until my legs are tree trunks and my fingers are fruit. But I don't know if I believe in meditation. I think it's kind of stupid, but maybe that's because I've never been able to do it. How can anyone possibly turn off their mind and just be? How do you find a quiet moment inside yourself, let alone in this loud city? I try to picture my mind as being empty. Tumbleweeds, white walls, with no flashes of emotion or swirling heartbeats. But I still see flashes of thoughts, like lights turning on and off, anxieties I quickly try to push away, only to have them reappear seconds later. I can't seem to drop this acute awareness or get my footing on this peaceful ground. Whoever preaches meditation as a way of combating this marathon of ideas must be lying, or else their mind is built in a radically different way than mine. Someone with my mind has to take the pen to paper and write all the thoughts out. Otherwise, they're ricocheting across my brain with no pattern and no breaks. Many of them are unreasonable, as anxieties tend to be, worrying myself to death over possibilities more fictional than real. But I'm scared that everyone else is more who they are than I am who I am. I think everyone else just looks at things they feel or think and says, of course, this is what I feel or think, so this is who I am, but I'm never sure of what I feel or think. And I'm scared because I'm holding all the things I could feel or think on a boat that the slightest breeze could tip over. And if that happens, I will fall with all of it into the water. I'm scared I'll be left with nothing and no idea who I am. Perhaps someday I'll find somewhere quiet enough to drown out the loud noise that only I can hear. But I'm the most put-together, broken person you'll ever come across, with hairline fractures so fine, my skin remains smooth to the touch, but I see I'm shattered, shards placed together and called art, a mosaicked woman. Am I just an empty person? This year has been the worst of my life, yet here I am, Why can I never fall asleep at night? Why am I tossing and turning in the middle of the night, anxiety brewing within me? Why do I fall apart at the slightest inconvenience? Funny, I name my fish after finger food, but I sell myself like $10.99 value packs. Unfinished tasks consume me, contracts and emails hook these hands, locked by deadlines and tense when I type. Locked by the deadlines, tense when I type. Let's count the stuff I gotta do on these broken fingers. I got boys to see, homework to copy, tests to do. I toss and turn in bed and say poems in my head and then turn to work, and I can't stop working. My goldfish watches me. We sleep with our eyes open, but sleep isn't the priority. Can't remember the essays I've aced. I'm addicted to my own fatigue. A new day should be a blank slate, a white room to paint with endless colors, but my chest is suddenly tight and my mind starts to unravel. Moving away from a crowd, stepping into an empty room, and suddenly forgetting why I'm standing there in the first place. Standing still, pausing, racking my brain on signals and being told on what to do on the receiving end of the static radio. Staring at the wispy hairs near the top of my head in the bathroom mirror. Nothing, no signal coming through. Waiting, listening, and receiving static. This is my looming anxiety manifested in my morning routine. My anxiety is the force straight down, then up all the way over my head, overanalyzing, overthinking so I can't finish the most mundane tasks. My anxiety is feeling hopeless when nobody contacts me, but overwhelmed when they do, when every single social interaction is bigger than real life. Believing that everyone is always judging me, strangers, parents, loved ones. My anxiety is a feeling I can't get rid of. It's realizing I can't think in a crowded room and panicking about that fact alone when the intensity of my breathing rises like an earthquake. Something's wrong, and yet there's no reason behind it. An uneasy state of being sits there nestled as I wake with no explanation. My head feels claustrophobic, resting in the sink in the blue ceramic bowl, slowly waiting for water to sink behind my eyes and drown out these flashes of color. Focus for a moment, the droning pulse of vibration every other second. How do you answer your body's distress call? How do you drown out the sound of your own voice? How do you resuscitate your droning pulse? The faint feeling of spinning like an optical illusion never stops, parts of my body being torn in opposite directions like a merry-go-round. Just breathe. Remember to blink. Flex the corners of your mouth up, not too high. Don't let them see your empty eyes. This mirror holds all my secrets. My hopes and fears are mixed with the toothpaste spatter I keep forgetting to wipe away. It sees me at my most vulnerable, crusty-eyed, and naked face, and I'm forced to face it. You do not have to have it all together, I write in the steam, knowing it will quickly disappear. I realize this may be the most honest I will be all day. Okay is not bad, I write in the steam. Maybe I'll get back to being okay someday.